getting ready to seize your first opportunity to come into the ring and start grandstanding and hot dogging, yeah!
I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long.
When we speak, our voices are heard. We all say, I bring it.
Welcome to the newest podcast on the internet. Welcome to Malice Smack Talk. I am your host, Masonic Vader. With me as always for week 4 now, we've got Janetty.
Time to walk with Elias.
Oh, damn. It's going to be that show, guys. It's going to be that show. We're going to totally dump on that shirt later. and of course, we got MindFreak.
MindFreak going plus ultra, baby. What's up, everybody?
Awesome. Welcome to the chat. Well, and once again, thanks for joining us today. Of course, we want to give a quick shout out to our parent site, Malice Corp. Please, when you have a chance, check them out. It's Malice-Corp. All great podcasts there. Anything about geek news, movie news, anything you like, you'll find it on there. And they're all awesome podcasts. So please check them out. They're a great site. Big week last week, guys. We finished up with Backlash. We've got Money in the Bank coming up, which we'll be talking about. We'll do a couple minutes here and there on some of the reviews of this week. But I think what we'll do is we'll start off with some of the big news that's been coming out this week. We'll start off with an injury report. I don't know if it's necessarily an injury, but Charlotte Flair is going to be out May 20th or around there. She's going to have some surgery to fix up some altered surgery that decided to pop. And the good thing is it's not deadly. For anyone who might know somebody who's had this surgery before, in fact, I think it happened to Eva Marie, same situation. You get some enhancements and you're doing that kind of hardcore wrestling that the women are doing now. There's tend to happen. So she's going to be out from the 20th, and there's a potential that she actually might not be able to make Money in the Bank. Your guys' thoughts on that?
The article I saw today is, the doctors didn't think it was very serious at all that she can do the European tour the next couple of weeks and then have the surgery afterwards. The one report that I saw was that she should be back in time for Money in the Bank. They're saying it should only be a small recovery, not very long. This is the kind of like a patch and work kind of deal. But they're saying the expectation as of right now is for her to be back by Money in the Bank.
Yeah, most people think that she will, but there is that distinct possibility, especially if there's any complications, especially because she's not taking care of it. She's going on the European match, so she could European tour, so she could actually potentially mess it up a little bit more and could go past that. That's why they were saying there's a potential that she might not do Money in the Bank if she injures herself any further. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that, because I would not want to see that. I want to see Charlotte Flair Money in the Bank. She is the top wrestler right now on the show, which I feel. But not only that, though, she has no problem putting herself on the line. She's flipping off the top ropes all the time now, and that's awesome. No way you see her dad do that back in the day, man.
But it's also too, to your point too. With looking at some of the past, historic matches with her and Sasha, looking with a lot of stuff, the Hell in a Cell match, I believe it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, also too, just putting their bodies through that excruciating pain for something like this. It should be time.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully she just doesn't go bonkers on the European tour. Just get some good matches in and kind of stays away from injuring anymore. So, moving on to the next thing, Kevin Owens just re-signed to a 5-year contract with WWE. He's very excited about that. In fact, he's gone as far as saying that he doesn't know when he's going to retire, but when he does retire, it's going to be in the WWE ring. I'm excited about that. I think KO and Sami Zayn have been really awesome lately. Their promos have been on spot. It's exactly what the show needs. Raw losing Miz to SmackDown, they need to fill that in, and they're doing good. I've been a KO fan, especially when he's just been an arrogant prick, but he just brings a whole different dimension. I think he's actually one of the few guys, or one of the first guys, that broke the mold as far as saying, hey, you don't have to be super large or in freaking phenomenal shape to go out there and kill it every night. So to see that they've signed KO to another 5 years, that's exciting. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of KO too. I mean, even looking back, from him breaking out of NXT, I mean, he had a bunch of great matches when he was in NXT as well. But ever since he's been, been on the main card, he's gotten a really good push. Fans seem to love him, especially that the nice push when he was Universal Champion for most of 2016, and had that stint going on with Jericho too, which I thought was some amazing programming. But the fact too that they've kind of put him and Sami Zayn together again, even though they are best friends, outside of the ring and stuff like that. But when they have the rivalries with each other, it's great. When they're together, it's even better at the same time.
Yeah, they're pure comedy. Pure comedy. Those guys, I mean, you could definitely tell they've been working with each other for a long time, and they have each other's back, because I haven't seen a single skit where they haven't gone. It hasn't gone right. I mean, it's gone right every single time, from the Yep movement all the way to now what they're doing now, when they're just totally bashing everybody and they don't care. It's almost like a pipe bomb every day, Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him staying in the top and keeping it entertaining there with Sami Zayn. Moving on, next news I saw.
Well, if you don't mind me jumping in on that one real quick.
Yeah, go for it, Janae.
I thought it was pretty awesome to be signed for 5 years, especially he's a homegrown independent kind of wrestler. You never know where he wants to stay, and you see these independent guys come in and out and are always looking for something, because they end up when they come to the big WWE machine, they lose that independence that they had in the prior organizations. So the fact that he signed a 5-year contract, which is a long contract for a wrestler, but then went to say, whenever I retire, I want it to be in the WWE. That's just the fact that he wants to be there for a long time, and he's got a lot of time to wrestle still. So know that that's where he wants to be. That's just the future is going to be big for him. I was a fan of him back when he was Kevin Steen, back in the Independence, and everything he's done in other places. And I thought he was a great character. I'm one of those guys who Kevin Owens. I mean, I hate the character. I hate the guy. But that's where you hate the superstar, but you respect the superstar. Yeah. I love what he does and who he is. Along the same lines as the Miz. I hate the Miz, but what that guy can do on the mic and in the ring is great. And the one thing I feel he's got on the Miz, he has that heat that he can bring on the mic, but I feel like he has a better in-ring skill set and attributes that the Miz doesn't have. And the fact that a lot of the KO's moves are his own stuff, whereas the Miz, obviously, we have all the Daniel Bryan stuff that he uses there. And if you're a wrestling fan, that's what he's doing. And it's, they played it up to it over the years. But the fact that Kevin Owens is this bigger guy coming in and doing these things that guys half his size can't even do, it's great to see him in the ring. As far as him and Sammy goes, that's the new generation of that's the new version of Shawn and Triple H. Best friends, and then they're gonna feud together, and then they're gonna be best friends, and then they're gonna feud together. But it's something that's gonna give a storyline for a very long time, because they have that history, and because they're kind of like, they are the anti-hero most of the time, where people love them, yet they're still getting that that heel heat. I think it's a great thing that the WWE went and signed them for that long of a period.
You know what? You mentioned something, and I'm glad you brought this back in the forefront, because it actually made me think of something when I actually did read that, is that WWE is poisoning themselves for the future. They realize that right now their main star lineup, John Cena, Randy Orton, I mean, these guys have been doing it now for 15, 20 years. Well, it's 15, 20 years. You can't have them running full go. I mean, eventually all these guys are going to go Brock Lesnar's schedule. And to sign someone like Kevin Owens to a 5-year deal, I think does a really good job of promoting WWE for long-term use. NXT, me, I'm a big fan of NXT, and I'm seeing this talent come through NXT, but now it's giving them more hope of saying, hey, look, NXT isn't your only thing, and even when you get moved up, keep doing your thing, regardless if you think you're going to be the champ or not, because we're going to reward you as long as you keep doing the best you can. Guys like Velveteen Dream, looking forward to him going into the main roster as well. And it's really a positive note for WWE. Like, I think I want to say that's more of a Triple H move than anybody else, because I think Triple H definitely has his fingers on the pulse for the promotion itself. He understands that the long-term benefit is all in the NXT brand, and ultimately when Vince gives up the reins, WWE is not going to falter. It's going to stay solid. A lot of people, talk 10, 15 years ago, man, what happens when Vince McMahon leaves? Is he going to sell? Is he going to do whatever? Dude, no one talks about that anymore. They're always talking about, well, freaking A, who's going to run it? Is it going to be Stephanie? Is it going to be Shane? Or is it going to be Triple H? And everyone now knows it's going to be Triple H running the show. So it's go ahead.
And to your point, too, that just goes to show, how well Triple H has been doing, especially with stuff in NXT. And you look at the connection with some of the people that he's brought through NXT that are up on the main roster. Take Kevin Owens, for example. I mean, look at the relationship they have. I mean, you can say the same about some other people, too, like Finn, Sam, just a couple.
You got to look at everyone right now. It's Becky Lynch. You got the 4 Horsewomen, which we'll talk about something else in a second. So you got Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley. You've got Finn Balor. You got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. You've got AOP now.
We got Seth Rollins. He was the first NXT champion.
That's true.
Rollins, man, absolutely. I mean, there's only been one guy that I don't think has been able to put a footprint or at least keep it going. And right now, it's not that he's just having contract disputes. And then Neville. So
he's not the only one. You can't believe in everybody.
Bo leaves, man, and just to kind of throw this out there, him and Axel actually have had a good, nice couple months here with their promos on the side and everything. I'm interested to see if they can get that tag team developed. I think they're a good tag team. He's definitely not Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns. That's another name that's gone through NXT.
Ambrose.
Ambrose, yeah, man. I mean, practically 60% of the main stars in the roster all came through NXT. So
and you got to look at where 55 to 60% of those guys may all came from the Indies. So it gives even more valid to the fact that WWE is realizing the talent that's out there, and they're not only just developing in their own home, but they're also bringing in that talent from other areas because they recognize that how great of a talent are out there in the universe that they could bring and utilize for their own business. And that's the thing I like to see.
NXT 2 hours long. Let's go, Triple H. Get your ass moving, man. I want more NXT. Hey, four horsewomen. Let's move on really quick. Janetty, you talked about this earlier and stuff, man. I just read up on it, but I want you to talk about it. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, man. We got the 4 horsewomen. Obviously, we already have Ronda, on the main roster, Raw. And then we have Baszler, who's the NXT Women's Champion at the moment. And, both of them are part of the stable of the UFC 4 Horsewomen with Jessamine Duke and Schaefer. And the 4 of them just dominated all divisions that they were in the UFC, the timeline they were in there. And over the last 2 to 3 years, they've all kind of just trickled out of the UFC for whatever management reasons or fight reasons and gone to other organizations. But, Ronda, obviously the whole storyline there, they took them forever to get her over there. And then she made the leap first and she's on NXT. But as of this week, Schaefer and Jessamine Duke, they showed up at the Performance Center and are now working in Orlando, trying to make it onto the NXT roster and become on the main roster. The one thing I will say, that I know that Jessamine Duke, she's been working a lot with Natalia. So that's kind of how this foreshadowing coming with her eventually coming over. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago with, that's kind of the storyline. Maybe Natty might be the coaching, or then they bring him over and being that, legend sort of background and bring them over. But I think it's setting this up to have these 4 women who dominate the UFC MMA world and bring them in and have this storyline going forward with the WWE's 4 horsewomen of, Banks and Bayley and Charlotte and Becky. We've already seen some interactions with them at the Mae Young Classic last year.
WrestleMania about 3 years ago.
WrestleMania a couple years ago when the Rock and Ronda situation in the ring happened. But that background, the history has kind of already been laid there for them, and it hasn't been really touched yet. But I think the fact that all 4 of them are on the roster now, are technically signed to the company, you have that storyline now that you can have these 4 horsewomen, fight the 4 horsewomen of UFC versus WWE. There's 8 women right there. There's a lot of matches that can go on right there. And I think essentially, if this is the case they're going and the way they're going, that we can essentially see WrestleMania 35 have a 4-on-4 8-woman tag team match between these these 2 teams of 4 horsewomen and seeing who's the better group.
Survivor Series.
You could do Survivor Series. And then the problem that when you go to WrestleMania, you're taking away all these talents away from the main title hold, which I think that opens it up for other women. But if you put those 8 women 4-on-4 in a WrestleMania match, it doesn't get any bigger than that for a women's match.
Yeah, but here, let me interject some stuff here really quick, because I was reading up on this, and with me in UFC, I don't know too much about it. I mean, I've watched UFC and I know some of the big names, but I couldn't tell you who's the champs now or anything like that, right? However, I was intrigued by this, obviously, from when Ronda Rousey first came to WrestleMania and they had him in the stands, and they were talking about the group. I actually looked into it and I saw some articles. Now, the thing that kind of gets me nervous about this is when you really look at all 4 of them, not all of them had stellar careers. In fact, Ronda Rousey was the only one that really had by far the best career, obviously dominating them, creating a whole weight class for her. Obviously, the last 2 matches she lost, which brought her to the WWE, said, hey, you know what? I don't need to go to the fights, get paid anymore. Your next one is Shayna Baszler. She actually had the most fights from what I recall reading about, where she's had 15 fights. However, the record wasn't stellar. She had some wins, but it wasn't like Ronda Rousey's, 10-12 or something like that. Then you talked about the last 2, and the only thing that really piqued my interest is, first of all, one of them was like 1-2. The other one was maybe 3-4. I don't know. They didn't seem like they really had that much of a stamp on there. I'm not saying they were riding Ronda's coattails, but it kind of looked that way for a hot minute. The other thing I found out is I think the last was Shahir, I think it is actually married to Riddick Strong, if I recall reading that right. Yeah. Yeah. So one of them, yeah. So I mean, there's been some ties there already. I am intrigued by the 4 horsewomen of both factions going through. However, I don't know, man. Ronda Rousey's success coming into WWE has been pretty cool. A couple good matches. A lot of it's just right now using her, like building her up in a sense. Baszler has just been a badass in NXT, just making everyone tap and being the bully in a sense. However, though, mic skills, man. She is definitely rough on the mic, and if anyone knows anything about WWE, if you can't get on the mic, you don't have much of a future. You could be the best talent there, but Bobby Lashley is case in point. All the talent in the world had no mic skills, and he was gone for like 6 years.
Yeah, we'll talk about Ashley in a little bit too.
Yeah.
But to go with that, if you look at this, yeah, I totally agree. The mic skills may not be there, if at all, for any of those 4 MMA fighters. However, I feel if you put the 4 of them together, you're putting a group together that you're going to be known. These are, just brutes that are going to come in and fight. These are fighters. These are entertainers. And I think you have that mixture of, you know what? You guys may be the 4 horsewomen of the WWE, and you guys may be sports entertainment, but that's all good, and you guys can get on the mics and could wrestle and do this and that. We're not here for that. We're here because we're fighters, and we're going to fight. We're going to win, and we're going to take over this business. And I think you can go that route too, to where you can have a pretty interesting storyline.
And not only that too. I mean, case in point too. With mic skills and whatnot, you could always get them. A manager as type person. I mean, look what's going on with Brock and Heyman. I mean, there's always a possibility that Heyman, if you go ahead and do the storyline 4 horsemen versus 4 horsewomen. With UFC talent, have somebody like Paul Heyman or somebody kind of being, their advocate, their voice for him like that, and that would just, propel him to even more heights.
Yeah, no, I think that would probably be the best way to go. However, I think Ronda Rousey is going to be the stick. I think, 2 matches, veteran people going against as far as Triple H, Stephanie, everything like that. So you got people that can do the show, right? What's going to happen when she starts wrestling against people like, say, Bayley or Asuka, or let's go with Peyton Royce, any of the newer ones coming up and everything? That's one of the reasons why they had her go against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, was because of the fact that they could handle young, really green talent. I mean, because this isn't UFC. She has to hold back. She can't just start punching people in the face and knocking people out. So she's got to learn the in-ring skills, which why Natalya was helping her out. but I'm waiting for her to actually have a match with someone like an Ember Moon or something. And that's where you're really going to see where her skill set is.
Yeah.
If she could pull off a match, then I'll feel more comfortable with Baszler and the other two coming in, because then they could adjust. But if she can't make that adjustment where she's making mistakes, she's not coming off the ropes right, they're throwing punches and it's not looking right, when all that stuff starts happening, that's where you start getting nervous about the situation. So I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I am definitely excited, but I'm a little nervous. That's why I'm hoping they really start getting Rousey into the mix a lot more, other than just side attraction. So,
absolutely.
All right. So let's the last thing I want to talk about, news, only a minute or two, but if you guys haven't been noticing it lately, Xavier Woods has been getting a push out of the New Day. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a big fan of the New Day's how they have been. But I will say, ever since they switched from Bootios to pancakes, it's gotten a little dry, and I'm starting to get a feeling that WWE is going to start trying to figure out something with them, and I think they're going to start pushing it, which I'm happy about. Xavier Woods is talent beyond belief. He's another guy that came out of NXT. I saw him in NXT, and I was just amazed by what he was doing there. I feel he's been the underused guy. And seeing these last couple matches against the Bar, I'm excited they're finally giving this guy his due, man. He needs to get an individual belt somewhere. He's got the mic skills. He's got the wrestling skills. Do you think this is going to break him up?
I have some thoughts on that, and I'll kind of touch bases a little bit more because it has to do with, one of the points I want to talk about with Smackdown.
Oh, just jump into it. Go for it, man. Go into it.
I think with the push that's coming with him, I think because they announced it, Paige announced that it was going to be, the Bar versus the New Day. Winning team has one of their members in the Money in the Bank ladder match. If the New Day wins, since like you're saying, they're doing this push with Xavier, we very well could see Xavier as the member of the New Day in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And if he wins the contract, if they have him actually win the whole thing, then I could see that as terms of like, well, I got here on my own kind of thing, and that kind of could lead to the breakup of the New Day. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. What do you think, Marty?
Well, I don't think they're going to break them up. I think that they're a team of three, awesome talents. They may not have the biggest runs when they're individuals, but they had some good stories and stuff going on in matches. Obviously, Kobe has a list of matches and accomplishments he's done. But I don't think this is really them pushing to break them up. I think this is pushing them to expand them and get more exposure, maybe some more individual matches, so they're not just doing that tag team bit. When it comes down to it, I don't see Xavier gain a push at all. He lost to Cesaro yesterday. And he has been the one out of the group that has been kind of held back. Usually the matches are going to be Kofi and Big E, not necessarily Xavier being in the mix. I feel like he's been more the comedian of the group, and with his trombone, and he's better on the mic than the other two. I think this is obviously going to help elevate him up to like maybe the lead of the group, since there really hasn't been one since they've started. They've all kind of been equals going forward, but the fact that that group is just such a moneymaker for the company, I just don't see them breaking them up anytime soon.
And they have been a moneymaker. However, though, I agree with Corey Graves. I think the pancakes are just beyond. I think they just need to move on. The Bootios was phenomenal. I don't know why they stopped getting away from that whole little second where they were trying to do the ice cream push and everything. Yeah, exactly. I get that. The pancakes, though, I'm just not getting. There's no marketing there. It's not like you're going to go to freaking buy a box of Bootios and inside there's going to be pancakes, right? Make some Bootio pancake mix, but I'm getting kind of tired of that. They are a moneymaker, but lately, man, I just think they've been dragging the New Day a little bit. They haven't been in the limelight as much. They've lost some matches. They've lost some key matches, actually, against the Usos. You got the Basham brothers just kind of taking everything over right now, and it's not. I don't know. I think New Day right now, the tag team, I thought at one point SmackDown had the top tag team division going on, and right now it just seems like they backed off the tag team division.
Well, that's in both shows, though, too. I mean, we haven't really seen much of the tag teams, since since Bray and Matt won it either. Like the tag teams have been quiet since the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, let's not bring up that pay-per-view again, man.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right. Well, yes. So let's do a quick recap of Raw and SmackDown. My 2 cents on Raw and SmackDown. I thought they were boring. I mean, I'm going to spend maybe 2 seconds on this. You just got done with your Backlash pay-per-view. You got everyone recovering. I do not agree with the Daniel Bryan loss to Rusev. I think Rusev is definitely. I like how they're putting Rusev over. I get it, but Daniel Bryan not in the Money in Bank. They better figure that out because you need to have him in there.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, the both shows were kind of bland. Nothing really stuck out to me, other than Finn Balor and freaking Seth Rollins having another phenomenal match. Or no, wait, no, excuse me, no. Let me go back. That was the Miz having a phenomenal match.
Backlash?
Actually, no. He had a match.
Seth fought Mojo on Monday night, and Balor had the triple threat match for the Money in the Bank with Roman and Sammy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm mixed. See, there you go, dude. I'm wearing my glasses because I got a cold, man. So
and a week of wrestling.
Yeah, man. I'm confused. I like that. That's you know what though? That's the point though. I watch the shows. I remember stuff. This week just seemed like it bled together. It really did. I didn't get enjoyment out of it. So
Yeah, and that
I'll let you guys talk about it. Go talk about it.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
All right, we're done talking about. Good. Let's move on to Backlash. No, let's get Backlash. Yeah, let's get out of Backlash. Let's go to Backlash review. Yeah, I thought Backlash was a great pay-per-view. I think the first match, and that's actually what I was thinking about, was the first match with Miz and everything. That was probably the best match of the show.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, I know what you said about the Miz, but man, since I've seen that kid since day one, coming from MTV and stuff, I thought the guy was annoying at first with those big ass teeth and just annoying haircut and everything. Dude, let me tell you, man, I am a fan of Miz.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, Miz is a great in-ring competitor. His mic skills are I don't want to say up to the Rock standards, but I could say if him and the Rock were in the ring, he would be able to hold his own against the Rock.
They were in the ring together, and he destroyed the Miz.
That was back then. I'm talking now. You bring Rock back now with Miz's
like 3 years
experience.
Ago. It was like 3 years ago.
I think Miz is just
Miz has gotten a lot better on the mic than he has with it.
Especially recently. I don't know what's happened outside of him. I mean, come on, dude. He's got Maurice, man. He's obviously got some skills, right? I gotta give him that.
But yeah, no. To me, the Miz Rollins match, and I believe it was Corey that even says it. It was a classic. It's going to go down. Here it was just a couple days ago. I'm still probably going to be talking about like next week, the week after. Like that match for me was phenomenal.
It's got to be a match of the year candidate. I do think it's probably going to be a match of the year candidate. I will tell you this: the show itself, and you guys can definitely touch up on the other stuff, but I'm going to tell you right now, man, that AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura match, WWE needs to freaking fix their stuff. That was garbage. That was straight. That was hot garbage.
That was a great match.
It was a great match.
It was the best match they've had. Now the outcome and the finish, completely ridiculous and ruined the match.
That's my point, though.
If you take away that final moment, take that final the last 3 or 4 things that they had at the end of that. If you separate that and put that match just by itself and look at the match and the work of that, it blew every interaction they've had out of the water.
Oh, absolutely.
Just that wrestling alone could be one of the best wrestling matches of the year. Of course, they went and ruined it by having the double count out, which is absolutely asinine. The fact that it's a no DQ match, which should entail no count outs as well. They just completely went backwards with that. And I know it's meant to progress the story. And the only way that I personally feel that they can even do anything to salvage this storyline is to get them in a 60-minute Iron Man match, let them duke it out, and just let it go for the title. no beat bull crap or anything like that, low blows or kicks or whatever. Just a full blown wrestling match. Best wrestler beats the best wrestler. Um, but it was a great work until the final 30 seconds. It was like, what are you guys doing?
So no one remembers who. Everyone remembers who won the championship. No one remembers who lost, right? And that's my point with this. Like, you're right. The match was great, but I don't remember the match anymore. I remember that BS 10 seconds, last part of it, where they both kick each other in the junk and then they fall down, and then that's it. I'm sorry. I guarantee that was not Triple H's call, and that dude's probably punching a wall when he sees that, because Shinsuke Nakamura is the best pure striking wrestler they have. It's the current version of CM Punk without the freaking mic, okay? And all they've done with him on SmackDown is just he hasn't done anything. Like, he's been up there as far as taking matches, but they haven't pushed him for a championship, or at least he hasn't gotten one yet, which I don't understand, because the guy was killing people in NXT, putting people to sleep. Just a great all-around in-ring performer, and they're jerking him around like that.
Yeah. I mean, even back in NXT, he had a lot of, like, the rivalry that he had with Samoa Joe going back and forth with the NXT title was fantastic too. But to your point, yeah, exactly. Like, he hasn't had a belt yet. You have a great pure striker, but one of the worst possible ways to do a heel turn.
And then AJ Styles, man. AJ Styles has been the workhorse of SmackDown. It's the house that AJ built. I get that. And I said this last time. I haven't been a big fan of his, but I said he does great work in the ring, and I like watching his matches. Dude, come on, man. That had instant classic written all over it, and it was literally just peed on in the last 10 seconds.
And when you think of AJ Styles with some of his, classic matches he's had, Royal Rumble last year against John Cena, instant classic.
Yeah.
WrestleMania a couple years ago with Jericho, classic. I mean, you have
even his match with Shane at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
That was the match of the night. If you look at
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous what they did with it. That was one of your main events for a pay-per-view going into and it just, you did that.
And that's something else that kind of bothered me, but in retrospect, I'm happy it ended that way. Like, the thing that I got pissed off when they're like, next match is going to be AJ and Shinsuke. I'm like, wait, this isn't the final match of the night? Why are they going to do Joe and Roman last? But with this outcome, I'm okay with.
Exactly, because you got
because of that outcome. I'm not even mad that Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns won the last match.
Yeah, no, I really hope they kind of get their shit straight. I threw out the S word out there, and apologize if I offend anybody, but guess what? You'll get more of those later. They screwed that. They screwed the pooch on that one big time.
Yeah, they delivered by starting that night off with the most amazing match they could have put together with Miz and Seth. Phenomenal match. Then the rest, I mean, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton was a decent match. Not great, but it was decent enough to just get the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought that the Daniel Bryan and the Cass match was a pretty decent match.
Yeah.
The fact that they gave Daniel the win was awesome, getting his first win back. But the fact that they just let Cass destroy him afterwards.
Thank you.
I loved it. Like, that's the heel kind of thing we need happening with this. I lost. They've seen it done with other guys in the past. In the last year or so, Baron Corbin does it. But when Baron Corbin does it, and who's done it too, it means nothing. Or Big Cass does it to Daniel Bryan. Oh, it actually means something. What did this just happen?
In another match, I mean, looking at the other title matches that we had that night too. The Raw and SmackDown Women's title. Personally, I thought the Raw match between Nia and Alexa was better than the Carmella and Charlotte match.
Well, that goes to my point with Carmella. She looked better. There was definitely a better match going on. I'm still peed that she's the champ, because I think she's, out of all the talent they got there. Once again, you got Becky Lynch losing the match on SmackDown. She's a hell of a lot better talent than freaking Carmella, and yet they're dragging her around like that. I mean,
not only that, but the fact that they gave her a clean win. Over Charlotte was like, wow, okay, this is what you think of.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Charlotte breaking Asuka's record to her getting a clean loss to Carmella, like, in a month. What the heck? Like, are you serious?
And now, even though we really kind of touched briefly on it, Janetty, what'd you think of the Becky Mandy match?
Either way, I knew it was going to be a bittersweet moment. One of them was going to get another loss. I love Becky. I love me some Mandy. God's greatest creation.
Dude,
however, with the outcome, I thought they were actually going to have Mandy lose again.
Yeah.
Just because she is the newer talent. But I'm actually pretty glad that they gave Mandy the win and let Becky have lost. I mean, Becky's continuing losing, but at the same time, it's not really destroying Becky because we all know who she is. You know, you look at other people like Bayley. Bayley loses, and it's like they're destroying Bayley altogether. Well, but takes loss. It's irritating that she keeps losing, but we know what she can do. And Mandy, this is Mandy's first win as a singles fighter since she's been up on the card. Like, you have to give her a win at some point. And I hated that it was against Becky, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and to my point, that'll kind of lead us into when we start talking about Money in the Bank. I think with the accumulating losses that Becky have, I think that they're going to give her the Money in the Bank contract as kind of like, hey, you've been losing, but it'll be an even better moment when she wins that briefcase.
Well, I could tell you I was excited about seeing Mandy win only because yeah, we could talk about the looks or anything like that, but bottom line, when you look at her matches lately, they have been much better. She's gotten some much better moves in there, the knee strikes and everything like that. I definitely see, like I mentioned this a couple of casts before, I definitely see the next coming of Trish Stratus there. Trish Stratus was the same way. She came out. She was more of the eye candy piece. She got in the ring. She was okay. By the end of her career, she was doing that crazy Matrix stuff. She was winning the championship. She had one of the most epic feuds with Lita. I see that going on here. Like, her future is definitely bright in the WWE. It doesn't hurt that she has the appearance that she does, but her in-ring skills are getting better every week, and I think it's something to do with having her teamed with Sonya Deville. I think Sonya's UFC background in fighting is actually helping her out with a lot of these strikes and everything. Like I said, these are knee strikes that you'll see in UFC, and now she's starting to pull stuff off. Yeah. So between her athletic background and her fitness model stuff, and now hanging around with Sonya, I think you're really going to see something. I say she's going to have a championship. Not this year, but next year.
Relatively soon.
And the best thing to happen for the two of them was getting separated from Paige.
Yeah, you know what? And I get it. Not everyone's a big fan of Paige. I am missing her in-ring talent, though, because if anything, she had a really lot of good in-ring talent, and she was a really great heel. Her run with AJ Lee and everything was phenomenal. I thought it was a great run. I think her personality, her personal life really screwed up her professional career, and it doesn't help that she started wrestling when she was 13 years old, and so now she's got the inner workings body of a 65-year-old now. It's so worn out. So I hope they start working on her mic skills a little bit more as her being general manager now, just because of the simple fact that that's all she's got going on for her right now. So hey, let's do a great segue. Hey, let's talk about Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it's leading into Money in the Bank.
The
one match that kind of did stand out for me out of all the qualifying matches between Raw and SmackDown was Hardy and The Miz. I think out of the two shows, that was the best match.
Absolutely. I love the way Miz pulled it off, man.
It was great.
I was hoping Miz would have won. I think
he had 3 twist of fates. Come on, bro. He was fighting.
Yeah, man. He that was a great match. He took a lot of bumps in that one, and
he gave a lot too, though.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy's got his belt. As much as you want to see Jeff Hardy in the Money in the Bank, I don't want to see him in the Money in the Bank because I'm afraid he might break. I mean, he's done so many of those now. If he falls off, if he does a swanton wrong way, hip goes out. I don't know, man. He's not as young buck he used to be. But yeah, I was definitely excited about seeing Miz win. Now before we jump into who's in it right now, I wanted to throw something out here that's been going on. There's some rumors going about that someone said that they saw a third Money in the Bank briefcase hanging around in the back that was more decked out in the red, white, or blue. So that's been going out there lately as some kind of, hey, last minute, we're going to throw a third match in there.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And the report I saw is that could be potentially a tag team Money in the Bank belt.
Oh my gosh, man.
If that's a tag team Money in the Bank, man, could you imagine that? That'd be that's fantastic. You know you're going to have a good amount of tag teams with both divisions or both brands. And having that many tag teams on ladders, I mean, reminiscent of the triple two-way.
Not only that, looking at like all the promos, you know, with who wants, like, you know, we're going to win the Money in the Bank contract. I mean, look at how many tag teams were going. I mean, with Raw, you had like Breezango.
Breezango.
Yeah, Breezango and the Ascension. And then with the ladder match with, you know, with the tag team match next week with New Day and the Bar, where one of them's going to be in the Money in the Bank. What happens with the other one? So say the New Day wins, they're in the regular Money in the Bank. Well, we still have the other two members of the New Day, and you have the Bar. They can easily jump into the tag team Money in the Bank as well.
Yeah, and then there was controversy on Monday Night Raw where Kurt Angle comes out, and the way he makes it sounded like that each show was going to have a men's and a ladies. So there was going to be like four freaking Money in the Banks rolling out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like that. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy that, not only the Money in the Bank match as a whole, but I do enjoy watching when people cash them in. And to have one or two, a lady and the guys for each show would be great.
And then but since they're doing two, and I like how they're just doing two matches, but I like how they increased it from 6 to 8. So I mean, with having 6 people in a Money in the Bank ladder match is already chaotic as it is.
Yeah, well, they have to do it, man.
They had to. No, I totally your point. They had to do it. But the fact that you're going to give a couple more superstars an opportunity and increase it to 8 for both brands, 4 and 4, it's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Money in the Bank has been to me probably in the third best pay-per-view of the year. I think it jockeys back and forth between SummerSlam and Money in the Bank. And then you've got your WrestleMania and your Royal Rumble and stuff. I like the matches they get out of those. I think way better than table, ladders, and chairs. I think with TLC matches, there's too much going on. People want to see people go through 5 tables and
at the table.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Man, I still watch SummerSlam 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that first TLC match.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You can't get any better than the first one, man. You really can't.
Man, that one was, Matt Hardy or Edge spearing Matt or Jeff off the holding the ring and flying off the 20-foot ladder in the walkway. My goodness, that was some good times.
So let's talk about the men's side first. So right now, qualifier, we've got Strowman, we've got Rusev, we've got Finn Balor, and we have The Miz. Okay, so we've got half of them already. Obviously, 2 and 2 from each SmackDown and Raw. My take so far is there's too much beef. I think having Strowman on there was kind of fun at first, but now you've got Rusev in there. So now you've got a lot of size. When I've seen these Money in the Bank matches before, like with Kane only and stuff, you can get away with one big guy in there because you're expecting them to just dominate everybody. But now you got 2 big guys, and it gets me a little nervous. I mean, only because I think there could be some high damage, but at the same time, a lot of people are watching these matches because of the crazy stuff that they're doing. Like you got guys jumping off the the greatest Royal Rumble match. They had the ladder match in there and stuff. And I can't remember. Seth Rollins jumped off the damn ropes right at the last second, climbed up and got it right before Finn Balor got. That's the stuff that people are looking for in these matches, not big dudes trying to climb up a ladder. I can tell you one thing that's going to happen. Braun Strowman's going to climb up the ropes or up the ladder, and then the rest of the guys are all going to do the powerbomb thing on him. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee that's one move that's going to happen, okay? What are your feelings on the men's side so far? And then I also want your input on who do you think is going to sneak in for those final 4 spots. We'll start off with Janetty.
What was the first question again? I'm sorry. I was already thinking about.
I got you. What do you think about the setup right now? Who's in the men's side? What do you think about it so far?
I like it. I think it gives an idea of who's coming over. I don't think we're going to get much more beef, as you say, to the match. I think we have Strowman from one side and Rusev from the other. I think they're going to be the two that are going to have that moment and stare down with each other, have that brawl going on. But then you got to remember, you're going to have 8 people in this match. There's got to be a lot of things going on because you can't have 8 guys all climbing the ladder at one time. We're going to get those spots so they do that, but you got to have different moments where everybody's doing something a little bit different. And you're going to have those different moments where Braun and Rusev are together, or where you have 3 guys on one, 3 guys on the other, and just have it gives you with these matches. You want to see as much as possible half these matches because there's so much. You know these matches are built to be entertaining, not be in the 4 corners and on the ladder.
Yeah.
If you don't have these two, if you just have Strowman, well, he's going to beat up everybody. They're all going to pick on him. But then you don't really have any like equal one-on-one with him either. And I think that's what having Rusev, you kind of have that benefit with him in there. As far as who else is going to be in that match, and this is going to kind of come back to that size thing. And I think you're going to have an Elias or Randy Orton in the match just to kind of give those two guys you can't have a match full of high flyers, but you're going to have some of those guys in there. It's kind of I haven't really even thought about who else is going to be in there. Possibly even Bobby Lashley might even be in that match if he has nothing else going. As of right now, there's no storyline for him. And with this little interview segment they had with him, they're trying to build him up as somebody. And if you're going to when you have this match, you want to have people in there that any member that's in this match, you can see the possibility of them winning that belt and winning that briefcase.
And by the way, when you mentioned Bobby Lashley really quick, I just have to say, man, I watched that interview, man, and I
fast forwarded it.
I'm just gonna say that's the reason why I had a problem the first time in WWE. His mic skills are rough, man. I just want to say hi to my sisters.
Was that not like the most awkward interview of the year?
No, yeah,
maybe even in a decade. Like it was like, what is he doing? Like,
I'm sorry. Were we watching ESPN 30 for 30 or something,
right?
or this segment?
Guarantee you wouldn't say that's Lashley's face, though.
Oh, absolutely not. That dude is my face. No way, dude. That's why I'm on the mic right now. Now, I will say this: if Lashley wants to, I'm throwing out an open invitation. He could definitely come on our show and verbally bash me. I have no problem with that, man. Just remember, I got a kid, dude, so I'm not getting paid like Lashley, right?
If he's verbally bashing you, you're pretty good. You'll probably come out on top. So
I will say though, man, if he open invitation to Bobby Lashley, come to our show once a week and practice your mic skills. Go for it, buddy. I got you.
We'll give you that 5-minute promo session where you can work on them. That works. We'll call it a promo workshop, and we'll just do it every week.
Yeah. All right, MindFreak. What did you think about the men's side?
So far with the men's side, I like it. You have that. You kind of do have that size detail with it, but it'll be interesting to see what happens because to Janae's point, you can't have just one big guy. I mean, with increasing it up to 8, I can see at least one, maybe 2 more big guys being added in. Somebody like Lashley or even somebody like Big Cass. I know we're not talking about the pay-per-view that shall not be named. But when they were the last 2, that stare down between those 2, there was something there. So that's something you can kind of build on, even though they're on separate brands. Just have like, hey, I'm the Monster of One Men. Well, I'm Big Cass. You're on different brands. Who's the bigger guy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be entertaining.
Now here's something I think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a surprise. First of all, there's going to be no surprise in the fact that more likely John Cena will be part of it. They're trying to get him pushed back in since there's a little bit of an outside life situation going on, which we don't know if that's staged or set up. I hope not. I hope it's legit because it's it is what it is. Unfortunate, but whatever. I think they're going to find a way to get Daniel Bryan in there because they really do need to get Daniel Bryan in there. They need to keep that right now. That's SmackDown's only positive thing going on right now.
If anything, what they'll probably do is most likely kind of maybe see like a repeat of what happened with the Elimination Chamber, have like a last chance match when it gets into it. It's like the last one.
One
of that last chance match is a Daniel Bryan and John Cena match.
Oh,
Just throwing it out there.
Daniel Bryan.
I don't think we get both of them in that ladder match.
I think here's who I think we're gonna get too, and no one's mentioned it because he's been gone for a while. Ambrose, that's his return match. Ambrose. The last time I read up, Ambrose is about ready to return. He's back from injury. He's pretty much just getting stamina going. Why not, dude? Why wouldn't you want to have the Lunatic Fringe come back on a freaking Money in the Bank? I mean, he's won it before.
Which was an awesome match. I was there that night. It was fantastic.
Absolutely. And I think that would be a great way to bring him right back into the fold. I mean, you've got right now, you've got the Shield. Yeah, go ahead.
The only way I can see that is if you take the belt off Brock, because outside of of the actual ring stuff, there is that beef between those two that they just don't like each other. So the only way I can possibly see Ambrose coming back and actually winning the Money in the Bank is if you take the belt off Brock.
I never said he'd win it. I just said he was going to be there.
I'm just saying.
It also depends on what show he's on, though, too. I mean, remember we had the Superstar shakeup. No one's talked about him because he's been injured. Who's to say he
left, right?
Yeah, he was on. Yeah, because they had the Shield going.
Together. Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense to bring him back because I like the Shield back together. I thought it was great. I think it's good having them. I like the fact that they're able to get together and at the same time still keep their separate careers. Mm-hmm. However, you have to look at it this way though too, man. Sometimes your professional life mixes in with your personal life, and Renee Young obviously is his wife. She's on SmackDown a lot more. It makes more sense to switch him back over because right now SmackDown's hurting for talent. Their shows stink right now. Their numbers have been dropping. You're losing. Shane McMahon hasn't been on, which I think is always a big draw because people like how Shane McMahon runs the show in a sense, right? He might be running it from behind, but everyone likes seeing him on the mic, not necessarily in the ring and doing his shuffle, but he on the mic.
Great.
Okay, I get it, but still, Paige needs help. Daniel Bryan's not on the mic as much. Daniel, I mean, you saw he had 2-minute interview, and that was
has
it.
He had an actual promo since he's stepped out?
That was his last promo. Other than that, it's just been him running. It's been now him just getting back to being Daniel Bryan. Yeah. I think he needs to get rid of the long ass hair though, and go back to that short hair looking one, man.
They should have. When he won the Money in the Bank?
Oh, man, dude. Did you see how ripped out he was at that time, too, man? That dude was...
He needs to go back to the goat-looking face and have the long beard and the long hair.
Yeah. He's got the long beard and long hair.
Team Hell No.
Longer.
Team Hell No, Brian.
Gosh.
Team Hell No.
He's got a kid, man. He's got to look some kind of respectable, you know? All right, so let's move over to the ladies' side. So, and this is where I'm gonna need your help really quick because I've slightly forgot. I think Ember Moon's on there.
Charlotte
Ember Moon. Who else do we have on
Charlotte.
there again?
That's
Charlotte.
No.
Right now. No, I think there's 2 other people, if I'm not mistaken.
No, there's only one of each. One from each brand had.
They only did Charlotte and Ember, and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't miss it then. Woo woo. Yeah, once again, hopefully Charlotte makes it. I'm sure she will, but let's cross our fingers.
I think with the way that they're kind of setting it up, you're going to give a money in the contract to one. Each brand's going to get one. Raw's going to have one, and then SmackDown's going to have one. Which one they're going to have, we don't know. Personally, I would like to see the Money in the Bank for the women's go to the Raw side. And then have the men get the one for SmackDown. Or they could just throw us at a complete curveball and get 2-1.
Well, here's the thing. They haven't specified that the Money in the Bank can only be cashed in on the brand that wins. They've said that they have the Money in the Bank contract, and the winner can cash it in for the heavyweight or for the title. Yeah. So it could go, whoever wins it, I believe at this point, until they clarify any further,
it could go either way.
It's a wild card. You can literally go whichever brand you want and cash that belt in.
Yeah.
Now think of this really quick. I thought about this for a second, especially after and I'm going back to the guys for a second. After I saw the Miz one, how crazy would this be if, like, say, the Miz ends up pulling off winning the Money in the Bank? Okay. Now, ever since this has come out, this has always been said that, hey, you get to cash this in for a championship match or for the title, right?
Thought about if you're going, I think you're going.
Oh yeah. Why not have him cash in on the Intercontinental Champion, tie the record?
I thought the exact same thing. I thought the exact same thing. That would be amazing because he's already cashed in on the heavyweight title, and if he's so close to the record, why not do it with the IC title?
It would be a twist. I mean, it would be something no one would really expect to see other than some of us crazy-ass people talking on podcasts right now. Well, Janetty, what do you want to say?
I've already referenced it once, so I'm going to reference it again. No.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
So, he could win the briefcase. But they've already have said that unless he goes something, I don't want to cash it in for the heavyweight belt. I want to cash it in for this. We can see what that does. Personally, I just don't want him tying Jericho's record. There's some that are out there that don't want Cena to beat Ric Flair. I'm not one of them. But when it comes down to having the Miz tie Jericho, I don't want it to happen. Let Jericho have that for a little while.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve it. Let Miz sit back there his coattails for a while.
I will tell you this: WWE has a hard time letting streaks go. They've had John Cena on the hook for 2.5 years, winning that, tying. The Dudley Boys got screwed. I thought the Dudley Boys should have won a championship and won the 10 championships, and so that kind of peed me off. So I want these things to snap. And the only reason why I do is because all the people that are in those positions are ready to snap them are deserving of snapping them. Up until that point, no one was deserving of taking Ric Flair's spot. I'm not saying that John Cena is anywhere close to like Ric Flair as far as what he's done for wrestling, but I will say John Cena deserves taking it, or at least tying it.
Well, you have to take into account too. I mean, look what both of them have done for wrestling, given the generations that they were in.
Absolutely,
given the time frame that they're in. So, John, absolutely. I would love to see him break the record.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's kind of bittersweet for me because I'm a huge Chris Jericho fan. But I'm also a huge fan of The Miz. And really, I mean, yeah, the IC title was, it was a mid-card title. But, I mean, like The Miz said, he's made it prestigious. I think he has. I mean, look how much rap the IC title's got, and look who has it now. Like between Miz and, going to Seth and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look how – I mean, Seth Rollins is a great character altogether. People love Seth. But how much more do you love him that, yeah, he may not be at the main event card because you're still trying to do the push with Roman and all that stuff, but he has the IC title.
Yeah, and I look at it like this. The IC title beforehand, and you could fight me on this if you want, Janetty, but here's what I think. The IC title, up until the point that Miz has had it and done what he's done over the last 3 to 4 years, his last 2 or 3 reigns with it, was always that title that was a setup for a champion, right? Someone to win it, they'd win it one time. Next thing you know, within about 6 months to a year, they were the heavyweight champion. They used to use it as a setup. Miz is actually taking it to where it's not just a setup; it's a belt you want to keep and hold on to. And I think that's why I think Miz is deserving of tying or breaking that record, because I recall when Jericho had those titles, I don't remember all of his title reigns. That's the problem. They were insignificant, some of them. That they didn't just put any type of mark in there. I'm not saying Jericho is not insignificant. That dude's Hall of Fame material. I love watching him. Promos are phenomenal. He is one of the best generational wrestlers that we've had, but his runs have not been as impressive or impressed on the mind as much as the Miz has done with his promos and his runs.
And to your point too. I mean, yeah. I mean, trying to think back, of all the title runs, to Jericho. Yeah, he's held the IC title 9 times, but I think the ones that stand out more is the undisputed title that he had. The first undisputed heavyweight. We had both belts and all that stuff. Back in the Attitude Era, stuff like that. To me, with Jericho, that sticks out more.
Yeah.
Versus with the Miz. Yeah, he's won the Money in the Bank. He's cashed it in. But when I think of the Miz, I think IC title.
Janetty, what are you going to throw out there, man? I see that beard starting to curl.
When I see it, Jericho's wrestling in such a long period of time that you're not going to remember every single reign he had. Also, you look at the time that he did wrestle, there's the names of people he was wrestling and losing those belts to were some high-profile names. Saying that, like saying, you know what, I don't remember when Pat Patterson won the belt and what his reign was. I don't remember what Harley Race's title reign was. Guess what? They're still legends. They're still champions. They still have that belt. Patterson had that belt first, but I don't remember what he did with it. It doesn't devalue what.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
Not.
it doesn't devalue it. So when you talk about, oh, the Miz has done this, well, that's because it's also the most recent time period with it. You know, when you look at it, I personally feel that Roman did with it more with it than the short little period of time he had the belt than the Miz did with it for the year prior. You know, the Miz has had the belt off and on, I think 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years alone. He's had the belt change hands 3 times this last year. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, oh, well, we're going to take the belt off, and he's going to come back in a week and win the belt again. It's no different than Sasha Banks being a 5-time champion, and she won them all within a 2-month period of time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
You know? So it's all these titles are there. But when you look at it, how many times, you know, you can also – I remember more of, oh, he had the belt, but he didn't do nothing with it. He had the belt, but he didn't defend it. He had the belt, but it was a prop on him. You know, I remember when Ziggler had the belt, and he was doing something with that. You know,
let me throw something in here really quick because I think it'll go with it. If you look at the difference between Jericho's reign, or just I won't even throw Jericho in there. I'll just put any Intercontinental Champion's reign up until the Miz, and it's not because it's recent. Okay, it's just because no wrestler has really really taken that Intercontinental Championship and kind of made it like it's the best thing out there. He is actually he's taken it and said, look, this is my belt. I'm going to make and this goes credit to his mic skills and everything about him. His promos are phenomenal, and he's actually made the Intercontinental Championship relevant. And I wasn't saying it wasn't relevant before, but the way he's able to make it seem like it's the best belt out of all of them, even though we know it's the World Heavyweight Championship, that's where I really think that he's done the best work. Yeah, there's been times where he hasn't gone like 4 months without a match or whatever it was. I remember that, but I also remember him cutting a lot of really phenomenal promos during that as well.
Okay.
And
so to go with that,
do
you consider John Cena the greatest U.S. title holder ever?
No.
Okay, so you saying that he's brought the prestige to this belt. Nobody has brought prestige to a belt more in the last 3 years than John Cena did to the U.S. title belt. And
what, you mean turn it into a spinner? Come on, dude.
The U.S. title? I'm not talking about the WWE World Heavyweight title. I'm talking about the U.S. title. The U.S. title Open Challenge. He brought more people over than anybody else. He did what the Miz did. So if you're saying, oh, well, he's done this for this belt that nobody cared about,
oh, we lost him. Hey. Oh, dang it. I thought we lost him. All right. You broke up. Sorry. Well, and I agree with you. I think between anyone who's done something, yes, you are right. John Cena, U.S. Open Challenge definitely was that did a hell of a lot. Absolutely. The problem with that, though, is that like right now, he doesn't have that. I can't recall who has a U.S. championship right now off the top of my head.
Hardy.
Who is it?
Jeff Hardy.
Oh, Hardy. Okay. I mean, dude, no one's talking about the U.S. Championship right now. Seth Rollins has the Intercontinental Championship. We've already talked about him 3 times tonight with him with the belt and everything. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I've kind of saying. What kind of impression that Miz has had with that belt is that he doesn't have it, and people are still talking about it. U.S. title, Jeff Hardy has it. Thank you for refreshing my memory. I'm getting old. But it's just no one's fighting for the U.S. title, man. More people are interested in the Intercontinental Championship right now than the U.S. title.
Well, I think it also just goes with who's been fighting for it. You know, we had Randy Orton. You have Jinder going in and out for his belt, and nobody wants to see Jinder at all. Yeah,
you hate Jinder, man. I don't get it, dude.
The Jinder. Oh,
dude, that guy's busted his ass to make a second coming, and he's a million times better than the first time. I think it's good to have. He's a great heel.
But the other thing too, they have to. It's to today's point. It's like, look who's fighting for these belts.
Yeah.
I mean, with it since the beginning of the year, how many times has the U.S. title changed hands?
Yeah.
How many times has the IC title changed hands?
Yeah.
3.
I got you.
And every single title change, the Miz was already involved. Whether he lost it to Roman, then won it back from Roman, and then lost it to Seth. Versus the U.S. title, it's gone from like Jinder, then Randy, I didn't even know who had it before then. I can't even remember.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I think we're getting to that point where we're starting our brains are starting to turn to mush because I can't remember crap anymore. We actually did the Money in the Bank ladies an injustice, so I'm going to make sure that next week we spend a good 10 minutes on that thing, and we'll have a couple more entries into that so we can do a little bit more foreshadowing with that. I do think that they're going to steal the show again this year.
No,
I got a strange feeling about that. I think you're going to pull someone up from NXT. Don't know who they will.
So to go with the Money in the Bank for the women's, it can only be better after that cluster of a mess that it was last year with No Chin Ellsworth.
No,
we are going to have a true finish. Knock on wood here, but hopefully it comes down to we're getting a real solid match with a true Money in the Bank winner.
Hey, here's a funny thing. Ellsworth is actually a champion, whatever division he's in.
I know.
Yeah.
No Chin music.
Yeah. God, man, what a waste of space. All right. Let me rephrase that because really, James Ellsworth for a short period of time in the WWE, he was a great freaking lackey, if you want to call it that. They definitely used his persona to his advantage, and more power to him. He took full advantage of it. So, hey, let's wrap this show up tonight, guys. MindFreak, where can we follow you?
As always, guys, follow me on Twitter at MindFreak, Instagram at @just_MindFreak. Follow me on Xbox Live, gamertag MindFreak, MINDFREVK. And also my gaming channel at twitch.tv/BTBMindFreak. A lot of different gaming action stuff going on there.
Awesome. How about you, Janetty?
I'm at Marty _Vasquez BASQUEZ 87, both Twitter and Instagram.
Simple as that. And of course, if you want to follow the show, you want to follow us on Twitter at Malice Smack Talk. You also can follow us on Instagram at Malice Smack Talk as well. Of course, once again, go back to our parent company, our parent show, malice-corp.com. That's where you can catch a lot of our shows as well, especially on YouTube, podcast.net. We're actually on iTunes. If you listen to us on any of those, please, especially iTunes, give us a quick rating for us. We could definitely use those. You can follow me at Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network and Masonic Vader on Twitter. But you know what? To be honest with you, don't follow Masonic Vader. Follow Smack Talk. There's a lot cooler stuff going on there. Thank you very much for showing up, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight and how we're now going to be going out on our shows. 1, 2, 3, ring the bell.
The title starts. We're back in.